She wanted to take the risk of Shoppable, which she did in 2011, launched it officially 2012, has now a team of 20 based in New York City. They've raised about $5 million, have over 438 merchants with over 2,000 brands using their platform, paying anywhere between 10 grand and 90 grand per year, some smaller, some more, but doing well north of 500 grand per month in revenue. This is episode 726. Coming up tomorrow morning, we'll learn why people pay this guy $10 million plus per year, or $4 on every $10 in ads that he manages. But first, here's today's episode.
This is The Top, where I interview entrepreneurs who are number one or number two in their industry in terms of revenue or customer base. You'll learn how much revenue they're making, what their marketing funnel looks like, and how many customers they have.
I'm now at $20,000 per top.
5 and 6 million.
He is hell-bent on global domination. We just broke our 100,000 units sold mark.
And I'm your host, Nathan Latka. Hello, everybody. My guest is Heather Marie. She is the founder and CEO of a company called Shoppable, a technology company that helps media companies, brands, and retailers bring the checkout experience to anywhere a consumer discovers or engages with their products. While with Shoppable, she won the 2013 Women in Digital Award from L'Oreal and was named one of the 10 most powerful millennials in Manhattan. I love that title, by Gotham Magazine, and one of the 11 tech gurus changing the luxury game by Refinery29. The company was a 2014 Webby Award honoree for online shopping, a 2016 Webby honoree for technical achievement, and named one of the 100 brilliant companies by Entrepreneur Magazine. Heather, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yep, absolutely.
My gosh, you're winning awards all over the place. So do you own New York City yet?
Not yet, just a small part of it.
There's a small goal, right? Small goal.
Exactly.
So tell us about the company. Tell us, what it does specifically.
Yeah, so we, kind of taking it from the top here, we created a technology that essentially lets you purchase anything that you see anywhere online. So if you think about e-commerce in general, you can of course purchase things directly on any retailer's website. But if you think about everything else that exists, from social media to blogs to publishing content to ads, videos, everything else you see, as consumers, we're discovering products so many other places. And prior to Shoppable, there was no way to really make anything shoppable unless it was a shop itself. So what we're doing is we've created patent pending technology that we're bringing to all these different locations outside of traditional retail shops to create shoppable experiences.
So you have this beautiful chicken and egg problem, right? Like, it won't work unless you get a lot of these retailers actually using it. So as a consumer like me, when I go and see my friend wearing a pair of jeans on Facebook, I can click it and buy it from whatever the jean company is, right? How do you solve that?
Yep. Yeah, great question. So we, when I first started the company in 2011, have to go way back. But when I first started it, that was definitely a huge problem, which was how do we, decide which one to get first. And, of it was we kind of pitched the concept to a number of different retailers, got their kind of loose buy-in enough to say, these brands are coming on board, and then bring them to find our launch partner. And we actually launched the technology with the Wall Street Journal during the holidays. And by having them on board, they actually, as someone with the Wall Street Journal, that caliber of branding and that type of company, was able to bring in a bunch of retailers and advertisers that they already work with. And then that kind of helped fulfill the need of the products out of the gate for that particular partnership. And it really created this amazing flywheel type of experience where once they were onboarded in general for them, they were onboarded for the next company and the next company and the next company. So you have to start somewhere and start small, but we've grown tremendously since then.
So in last year, 2016, how many just individual transactions were processed through your platform, would you estimate?
We don't share specific transaction level, but as far as like on the product catalog side of things, we have grown to just under 30 million products across the whole platform.
Yeah, but see, Heather, I'm going to ask this question again because like that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like here's what I mean. I go to your website and I see the marketplace with most popular stuff listed here, but then I look at your Alexa ranking and it's super low, which means people necessarily aren't seeing these. Like the key to making your thing work is they have to see this Ralph Lauren black and white striped scarf like on somebody on Instagram or on Facebook. Like you have to make the sale happen there. Like, which is maybe why you don't share, transaction numbers. Like, how do you solve that problem?
So we solve it so we actually are not about bringing people to shoppable.com. It's about bringing the technology to where consumers already are. So integrating the technology across a number of other different websites.
Can you give me an example? I would love to actually see that.
Yeah, sure. So like going to let's go to like dove.com is an easy. Yeah, DOVE. Okay. And then if you click the product tab.
Yep.
And then just click on anything.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Well, it might take you a second to load, but once you get into product detail pages, everything you see here is powered through Shoppable. So without Shoppable, an incredible brand like Dove didn't have the ability to sell products from Walmart and Walgreens and Target and all their favorite retailers on their own website. They had to redirect consumers off their site and weren't able to make that connection directly for their customers. So they've integrated Shoppable technology. And if you click through, I can't see what you're looking at. But
I'm buying the white beauty bar right now because this face needs more beauty, baby.
That is a very popular product. So you go through that and you'll see all the way through to the checkout experience.
Yep.
You're able to stay directly within that experience where you're getting all that product information, where you've seen that product. So
Got it.
On the
so
back end,
this is like
this
less.
Is going to the retailer.
Yeah, this is like less about, sorry, I had this misplaced in my brain. This is less about influencer marketing, right? Buying stuff you see on Facebook and social media, and more about letting these brands that didn't have sophisticated backends to even have their own merchandise on their website, and you giving them the tool set to be able to do that.
Yep. Yeah, we bring the technology to a number of different types of companies. One, big category for us are major Fortune 100 brands and CPG companies like the Dove example we're looking at. But yeah, we've done stuff, shoppable things with other types of publishers, like I mentioned, the Wall Street Journal and Condé Nast and Time Inc. And,
what would Wall Street Journal sell? Like their digital publication or their print publication?
Digital.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, interesting. And so what's your business model? How do you make money?
So we charge it's basically SaaS. So we charge an annual license fee for access to the technology and creating a shoppable experience on someone's site or app or video ad, etc.
And is that license? I imagine you have all kinds of cohorts, big and small. So I'll just ask a generic question. What's the average shoppable customer paying you?
We don't share that outside.
Well, give me a big range that stays vague as you want to have it.
It's typically, it's an annual license, so it's typically in the 5 figures.
Okay, got it. And is it being, way more than 5 figures or way less than 5 figures, dependent on like what specific metrics? Is it number of SKUs? Is it number of average checkouts? What are the levers that you pull there?
So it depends upon a few different things. Part of it is SKUs. Part of it is the size of the site and API call. So some are obviously significantly bigger than others, yep. And then other things, like service tiers, things like that.
Got it. Okay, now that we kind of know more about how the business operates, tell us the juicy stuff, the story. So 2011 was launch date, huh?
Well, we started in 2011. We launched in 2012.
So what were you doing before 2011?
Before 2011, I was post-acquisition at Monster.com.
Oh, okay.
Just before that. So I had been on the founding team of a digital media company called Affinity Labs. And I was the CEO is Chris Michael. And, it was his idea and his genius behind everything. But
at the agency or at Monster?
No, at Affinity Labs.
At Affinity, okay.
It was pre-Monster, yeah. And then, but I was there from the time it was a PowerPoint, and led sales and business development and account management and sales ops, was kind of a team of one for a while. Then Monster.com acquired that company in, well, don't quote me, but a couple years.
Like what? Are we talking like 2008, 2005?
2000, yeah, I want to say 2008, 2009, around that time.
Okay, so just to be clear, did you do the agency right out of college?
No, it wasn't an agency. It was digital media. It was a digital media company.
Sorry. I keep saying agency. Yeah. Digital media. That was called Affinity. Did you do that right out of college?
I did, yes.
Okay, so college, Affinity, digital media. You're bought by Monster. Is there an earnout? Do you guys have to all stay on?
So it was all cash, but then additional incentives afterwards. So I stayed. I made it 2 years after the acquisition.
That's pretty good. Most don't make it that long.
I think of the original. I'm trying to think of like the 5 people that were there at the beginning. There may have been one other person still there when I left, but they may have all gone too. I may have been the last one of the 5. So I stayed there until I was ready to leave, and had been, doing an enormous amount of research on the idea of Shoppable, which I, kind of stumbled across through an aha moment while I was working for Monster during that time in my life.
Got it. And part of what I want to understand is like what was in your brain when you thought about leaving Monster to take the risk to start Shoppable? Financially, did you already kind of build up a pillow, like a buffer from the Monster acquisition and from just saving your salary, or were you really going balls to the wall? You had nothing and you had to make Shoppable work.
Oh no, the former, 100%.
Yeah.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs like tell a certain story and not the truth behind things, and It does no one else justice. And I try to say the truth about every single detail that you can. So no, I post acquisition, I knew at some point I was going to start my own company. Even before I took the position with Affinity Labs, I thought about starting a completely different company at that point in time. Uh-huh. Didn't do it. So after the acquisition, obviously paid off any debt and anything like that. And
what debt did you have?
Student loans. And,
how much?
I don't even remember at that point in time. I had just graduated, and it was 2 years later, so it wasn't. And this was now, I don't know, I feel like 10 years ago.
Are we talking though? Are we talking like 10 grand or 100 grand in debt?
Probably closer to like 10. Wasn't that much? But paid off everything, and then set aside a portion of cash, knowing that I'm going to be doing this relatively soon.
Tell me your secret formula. What portion of cash did you make sure you put away so you could live with the rest?
I assumed that you could go, I think it depends on what people want, but I wanted to make sure I could go for 2 years without taking a dime.
Yep.
And I wanted to kind of overestimate what everyone else says. And then just plan, because nothing else, you're sitting on extra cash, which is never a bad place to be in, but you also don't want to be desperate as an entrepreneur either. So I set that aside, and then while I was still at Monster, making a nice corporate salary, getting sales bonuses and things like that, I took that opportunity to continue to set stuff aside, start to pay out for certain things that I needed to do on the weekend to prepare to quit my job. And then I also downsized from my nice condo in the Soma district.
What did that cost?
The condo I was probably paying at that point in time as a 1-bedroom in Soma for like $2,400.
Crazy.
Like that.
What'd you downsize to?
I moved to Sausalito. So I moved across the Golden Gate Bridge and lived in a tiny 1-bedroom that it sat on the hill. I had like a tiny water view. But like floor so thin that you could hear your neighbors walking, and I'm pretty sure the guy hit the ceiling with a broom whenever I walked across the apartment.
What would you pay for that?
I probably paid around $1,000 or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to know, okay, I need to start downsizing, gonna get rid of I'm going to have no income pretty soon.
Yep.
And just prepare for that. So
yeah, guys,
that was kind of the prep.
I want to pull this out of Heather's story because she talks about it like it's vanilla. But one, people rarely talk about this. And two, people assume she mentioned she put away, and Heather, correct me if any part of this I'm repeating is wrong, right? Because I want to get it right. She put away 2 years, right, of what, if she had no salary, what her living expenses would be, that she could live and not have to worry, right? So she's giving herself basically a 2-year runway on Shoppable. Once she had that put away, she's going, okay, now I have 2 more triggers I have to pull before I jump in full-fledged. 1, save some of my monster salary as risk capital, right, that I can throw at Shoppable, right? So I don't have to give up equity to investors. And then 2, you can also limit your expenses, people. So many entrepreneurs I talk to do, Nathan, I don't have any money. I don't have any money. Baloney. You have it, right? There's 2 ways that you can increase your buffer. 1 is save more money. The second is live on less. Heather did both. And that's one of the reasons I think that's one of the things that makes entrepreneurs successful, because you do that in business as well. Yeah, no, it's a huge thing. And honestly, going from someone right out of college to a great job and then post-acquisition money, it was I had to change so many habits, because and habits that I probably shouldn't have had in the first place. But, the bill comes at dinner and you just add the tip and you sign it and it goes away. And someone's like, how much did that cost? I couldn't tell you, because I wasn't paying attention to those details, because at that point in my life, I just kind of was a little too fast and loose with money. So I had to stop those types of things, stop any online shopping. But for someone starting an online, e-commerce business, it was incredibly difficult. It was incredibly difficult. I had to manage return policies, and anytime I was testing, I had to make sure it went back again. That's so funny. On the other end. But yeah, you definitely have to change your habits. And so fast forward, Heather, we're running out of time. Fast forward on the Shoppable story. So bootstrapped, or have you raised capital? No, we raised about $5 million. Okay, you raised $5 million, and what year? I assume you probably did that in many rounds. What was the most recent? That was last July, August, thereabout. Okay, so about a year ago. That's right. So right now you're either raising another round of capital or you're selling to Shopify. Which one is it? Not selling to Shopify. It's neither. And not Come on, Heather. Come on. Yep. She's smiling. I don't believe you. All right. Just kidding. What are you? So are you break even right now, or are you still burning cash? No, we're above break even. That's great. The goal was, and part of this was my strategy, is I don't want to be one of those companies that's making announcement after announcement, taking cash and then giving up equity for it. I don't think that venture capital is a metric for success. I'd rather have the equity and have, take care of the team and the original investors, and give out as little as possible and create a real business that's generating revenue. Yep. What's your team size to date? We're about 20. Okay, 20, all based in San Fran? No, all based in New York now. Oh, New York now. Okay, very good. Oh, okay, so you made the trip. You were talking about Soma and moving over the Golden Gate Bridge. At some point, you moved to the East Coast. I did. After I made it, was in Sausalito for about 6 months, and waking up early every morning, calling on retailers and media companies in New York. And it was just taking forever. It was going so slow. So I went on a business trip to New York. And on the second or third day I was here, it became so obvious. I said, you didn't leave, did you? No, I came back and got my stuff and came back 30 days later. And it just became so obvious that this type of business needed to be based in New York, and we can move so much faster. Yep. So where are you at? Last few questions here. Where are you at today in terms of, you said 30 million, I think you said SKUs or products on your platform, but how many merchants is that across? Can I just pull that number off your Shoppable thing? Yeah, we're about 400 and some merchants. Yeah, 438 is what you've got listed here. And then that sounds right. What's the difference between merchants and brands? You say 2,000 brands. So one merchant could have hundreds of brands. So a merchant could be someone like Saks Fifth Avenue, whereas a brand could be someone like Theory. Oh, I see. Yes. Does that make sense? It makes perfect sense. Yep. And then you mentioned earlier you're kind of annually, and this was a kind of a general thing you threw out, but you said annually these folks, it depends, but they'll pay on average, low 5, maybe high 5 figures per year. So can I add a minimum, which would be, call it $1,000 per month, which comes out to about small 5 figures per year, but $1,000 per month multiplied by 438, and assume you're doing somewhere way north of $500,000 per month in revenue? More. Way more, right? Yes. I'm trying to be respectful that you don't want to tell me the exact number, but also put a floor so people understand some of your success. Yeah. That's fair. Do you want to make that more specific?
No, I don't. I don't want anything out there. We keep it quiet.
That's smart. Look, sometimes it's smart. Sometimes it pays off to be. It all depends on your strategy, but that's good stuff.
It's good to control the information.
It 100% is. I know you guys enjoy listening to every episode each morning, but what if there was an easy way for you to get all of the data I capture on my podcast in a very simple Excel-like format where you just go there, you view it, you sort all the companies by revenue or CAC or ARPU or lifetime value or churn or gross margin or valuation, whatever you want. You can now get it. I spent $25,000 to build a beautiful piece of website. Okay, that's what we'll call it, a beautiful piece of website. It's getlatka.com. GETLATKA.com. Now, here's the deal. This data is super valuable. I think Mattermark, CB Insights, PitchBook, they do a great job with data, but they don't tell you revenue and customer counts and revenue per employee and gross margin. This is stuff I have that nobody else has because I've done the interviews. If you want to be and get an advantage, I'm only giving it to 10 new people every month. 10 people. So if you're hearing this now, you're probably one of the first. Go to getlatka.com and sign up immediately. It's free to use, free to check out, but it's a great resource. I'm only giving it to 10 people every month so that it's a real advantage. You know, if I give it to everybody, it's not an advantage anymore. So only 10. Go to getlatka.com for the top 200 B2B SaaS companies and all the data laid right there for you to study, analyze, interpret, and get an unfair advantage. That's GETLATKA.com. Let's wrap up here with the famous five. Number one, what's your favorite business book?
I would say Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
I would say Jennifer Hyman from Rent the Runway.
Yes, so good. Number three, is there a favorite online tool you have, like Acuity Scheduling?
Right now, it's still Boomerang for Gmail.
Yep. Number four, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Usually about 6.
Okay, that's pretty good. And what's your situation? Married, single, do you have kids?
Engaged, getting married in 3 weeks.
Oh, congratulations. That's so exciting. Okay, good. So no kiddos yet, right?
Not yet.
All right. And do you mind me asking how old you are?
32.
Okay, so last question. Take us back 12 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I would say just how long everything takes. I mean, everything, I think patience is incredibly important and preparation is important, which we've been. But yeah, I think having an idea of how long certain things take would certainly be a helpful thing to know.
There you guys have it from Heather. Things take longer than you expect. You got to be patient. And she was right out of college, went to work, again, at an early agency that was acquired by, or digital marketing that was acquired by Monster, and about 5 people before it was acquired. She stayed there for 2 years, saved up, knowing she wanted to take the risk of Shoppable, which she did in 2011, launched it officially 2012, has now a team of 20 based in New York City. They've raised about $5 million. They have over 438 merchants with over 2,000 brands using their platform, paying anywhere between 10 grand and 90 grand per year, some smaller, some more, but doing well north of 500 grand per month in revenue. Heather, you're on a tear. Thank you for taking us to the top.
All right, thank you.
If you enjoyed today's episode with Heather Marie, go back and listen to Charlie yesterday and learn why he gave up his $3.5 million real estate empire so he could jump into group coaching.